Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday night news drone news stream. How is everybody today? Welcome to the
loosely
show.
drone news. Loosely
Yes.
drone news.
And where are my manners? I must introduce my good friend and enemy, Mark, down
I was
to
going
the
to say,
bottom.
good friend.
Over there. I know, you nearly got a good word from me there, didn't you?
I know. How dare you?
I thought, no, can't let the facade slip.
Battle across the pond.
Yeah. So, hello there, everybody. Just started streaming, 6 people watching. I hope you're doing very well. Now, I was informed just before the stream that you need to start listing your videos as not suitable for kids. So, if you're watching, this stream is not suitable for kids. We don't swear, we don't talk about any sort of adult themes necessarily, but not suitable for kids, unfortunately.
We're just keeping it safe.
Yeah, just covering our own backs. Oh, dear me. So,
And Steve, can I say something before we may actually have a sponsor for next week's show.
yes, we are about to
If we-
get sponsored by somebody. Believe
So
it
tune
or
in.
not, and it's a fairly big company. We're in talks at the minute.
Oh, they're big, all right.
It could turn out to be a fairly lucrative deal, actually. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I can't say too much.
what-
We are sort of on hush. Thing is, but it's going to rake us in at least a couple
And you know
of
who
pounds.
who got us the deal, right? That's why she hasn't been around. She's been canvassing the countrysides, trying to find sponsors for her. So that's why you haven't seen Hen in the chat lately. So
Yeah, she's been hatching a plan.
she's been earning her pay, for Christ's sake.
Yes. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, I nearly swore then. It nearly just slipped out of my mouth, I've been playing a lot of online games lately, and my language is going right down the drain. So
And they've been late night sessions too, haven't they?
they've been late night sessions. Yes. Okay. Well, that's enough about that. EBRFPV, hello and welcome to the stream. It's always a pleasure. I hope you're well this lovely Saturday night. Well, it's lovely over here anyway. It's not particularly cold. Happy Lux, hello there. How are you? And I've seen you about all over the place. And why you don't have a blue wrench in here, I don't know. But that has just been rectified. So that's all good. Mark, any urgent things to announce or anything like that, or should we get straight into
Yes, I've got
story?
the flu.
Yeah, Mark has got the flu.
So if you see me up and dash out of the room real quick, you'll know why.
Because
I'm feeling
the
better.
situation's about to get explosive.
Ooh.
Boom. Yes. Demolition in the bathroom, yeah. Yes. My apologies for that, yes.
Well, this is Saturday night. You can get away with it a bit more than
we can get away with murder tonight.
Yes.
Hopefully no one breaks in and murders me, but like what you said, you'd get away with it. Yeah, I don't know. Yes. Bear in mind, we are going to be talking about some drone news tonight, but Saturday night, we just like a good waffle, don't we, Mike? We like talking about all sorts on these shows.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've got enough drone news stories to cover the 1 hour slot.
Right.
But
And we try to stay out of hardcore politics. We dabble in it, but we're really not here to comment on stuff like that. It's usually about drone news and, how should I say, more on the conspiracy side of politics more than anything else.
We stay out of politics. But conspiracy theories, on the other hand, we like to very much wade in on those.
And are you still seriously considering resurrecting it for one more go?
What's that, sorry?
Are you still seriously resurrecting the conspiracy stream for one more go?
I think that it is about time, don't you? The people are demanding it now.
I think so. So
Yeah.
we need to, if you let me know, we can do promos. We'll get that going.
My channel is literally inundated with a message asking to resurrect the show.
Would you be doing it again on your old time slot on Sunday nights? I mean, for old time's sake, or would you pick a different night?
Yeah, the one-off show will be on a Sunday, not not tomorrow.
Right.
Not the week after, probably. But I will announce it well ahead of time because we want to make sure that everybody who used to come in for them shows, and sometimes it'd be like 30 odd people, right? We want to make sure everybody who used to love that show gets back in for the send off. You know what I mean? Because I've been looking at loads of crazy conspiracy theories lately, including some that involve drones, actually.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yes.
So well, it doesn't begin with a G, does it, Steve?
It kind of ties in. Gary!
Gary!
Hello there, my friend.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Lord.
Yeah, I'm full of beans tonight.
Yeah.
I had a nice pizza for tea. It had jalapenos on it.
Ooh.
And since then,
Nice.
I've been feeling a bit spicy. You know what I mean? So.
There you go.
Yes. Prepare for some fun tonight. Matt, you look like you do not know what's going on.
I'm actually starting to get worried.
Yes.
More so than normal.
Yes.
So,
Well,
because I'm the one who keeps it pretty clean here. Let's be honest.
Oh, I keep it clean.
I'm kidding.
I go to realms of
Yes.
and depths that are unplumbed.
or since you're talking conspiracies, should it be unprobed?
Unprobed. Oh, you know, in the game of Scrabble, you're actually allowed the word pre-probed.
Pre-probed?
Yeah, I found that out the other day.
How do you pre-probe somebody?
Well, I'm not sure. I played probed, and then the computer played reprobed, and I had a P, and I went, pre-probed, will that allow it? It went,
And it did.
Dring, allowing it, triple word, pre-probed, get in.
It's kind of like having a book and pre-reading it.
Yeah, yeah, pre-probed. How? Like, have those humans that we abducted been pre-probed yet? Have they been
Gary
prepared
called you
for
out,
the main
Steve.
probing? Right.
Gary just called you out, Steve.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Steve couldn't get an electrician to change his light bulb. I know. I need to stand in a pot of soil and I'll literally ascend to that height. Look, these are really high ceilings, look, and that light, it's not doing it justice, but that light is very, very high up on that ceiling.
Now, is the receptacle pointing straight down? Because they do sell the little arms that you can put the light bulb in and reach up, and because that's what they do with the really, really high ceilings. You're just gonna, so you never have to get on the ladder. Just saying.
Well, I'm not going to buy one of them for one light bulb.
Well, it breaks once. You never know.
I'm not some sort of light bulb changing professional. It's just a case of that one's particularly high up.
Here's a story for you. I know a contractor who I'm not fond of, but his family got the contract for changing light bulbs. And that's all his company does, changing light bulbs in Las Vegas, Nevada. And how many light bulbs have to be changed on a daily basis there? Guy makes
thousands, maybe?
Fortune, and all they do is change light bulbs.
Yeah. Well, some of them buildings are just covered in light bulbs.
That's it.
Yeah.
And Brent says pre-probe is just the lube part.
Or the romantic part.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Gary, how do you know that?
Jewish redneck preppers, hello there. We're talking about pre-probing, but we soon will be moving on to drone news from around the world. Hopefully. Oh, I'm not bothered. Honestly, I just don't care anymore.
If you want drone news, we'll get to it. Damn it.
Yeah, damn it. Okay. Right. Shall I start off the news then, Mark?
Have at it, sir.
Drone news. Okay, so this one is an article from the EU Mirror of USA Today, and I will paste that in. This relates partially into what you're banging on about lately, Mark. Brant Ariel says, I visit my doctor every Wednesday. She's fond of the probe for some reason. Yeah. Or like the guy with the biggest hand you've ever seen. You walk in, is snapping on some vinyl gloves. You're like, here we go. We're in for a wild ride here. Right.
I do have a conversation about that if we want to go down that road later, right. But I'm gonna let you do your story first.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Okay, so drones can crash planes or enact terrorism, FAA fears. Pilots say new rules would ruin their hobby. So this one just gives loads of like instances and that of different things that have happened. And speculation only, right? So Los Angeles, it was an otherwise routine flight until at an altitude of about 1,100 feet east of this city's downtown, the crew aboard the news chopper heard a loud bang. The pilot and I just looked at each other. What was that? Reporter Chris Christie of KABC TV remembers thinking. Not far from their base, they landed their A7HD, as their Eurocopter is known to viewers, and discovered a dent in the horizontal stabiliser, and next to it, a gash and 1-inch hole. There was no blood or feathers as if they had hit a bird. The most likely cause was a drone. Now, I remember covering that story, Mark, and our best guess was that somebody had shot at the helicopter.
Yeah.
Yes.
The hole and everything looked more like a bullet hole you'd see shot through a sign on the side of a road.
Yeah.
At an angle.
They actually reported a flash that they saw as well, didn't they? You know, in the distance, that could have been a muzzle flash. Do you remember that?
Could have been. Yeah.
And all around them there was really tall buildings which were potentially about the same height as the helicopter.
But again, if you don't know it's a drone, don't even suspect it. Say an unidentified object hit the helicopter. End of story. You got the proof that you got hit. Why is it a drone? Please tell me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. The National Transportation Safety Board says it's awaiting results from a lab before it can confirm a drone was involved, but it wouldn't be the first time that a drone and aircraft mix it up. In 2017, an Army Black Hawk copter collided with a drone that wandered into its flight path near Staten Island, New York. Now, you've covered that one before, Mark.
Yes, that's the one confirmation of an actual drone strike. Yes, we can say that there is one confirmed drone strike, but it did nothing to the helicopter.
Then Black Hawk helicopters are built to withstand an RPG blast, so
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that a drone just going plink off the side of it is not going to.
I'm sure it shattered like a freaking ice cube, like
yes.
Like that one video we saw with the 747 jumbo jet.
Yeah. So in both cases, the outcome could have been catastrophic. Well, only could have been. How do they know? Drones are relatively small, difficult for pilots to spot, and often flown recreational by novices. If one crashed through a windshield, or into an engine intake, they could down a helicopter or jetliner. Also, I don't think so. As Christie puts it, the collision between the copter and the drone wasn't scary per se, but it was scarier when we saw the damage. Still, no evidence of a drone, unfortunately. Now, when we covered that story in that, the tail, like that stabiliser on the back, that hole, surely there would have been some part of the plastic or something that would have ended up inside there. A helicopter going at the speed they claimed would shatter a drone, wouldn't it? Let's be honest.
And not to mention the prop wash and downward spike of the air that would clear most things from hitting that stabilizer as well. You know what I mean? If it was a drone, it must have been the exact right angle to not be affected by those top rotors.
Okay, well, this article made me laugh. I'm going to keep reading it because it's full of all sorts of guff. So, alarmed at their rising numbers, 1.6 million drones and 167,841 registered operators in the US. The FAA is trying to institute tougher rules, blah, 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 that would allow authorities to identify drones and their operators more quickly. The plan, however, has gotten flack from hobbyists and some professional drone operators. They say the Fed's plan is far-reaching and that many of the existing model aircraft and drones can't meet the requirements. So few would deny this, Mark, that drones have complicated the airspace. Yeah, don't get me wrong. If I was a pilot with the drones now, I would be keeping an eye out for drones. I wouldn't say it's complicating the airspace, though. Not unless a drone is reported in the area.
No.
Drones are not widespread of a problem that the news is making out. So,
right.
The FAA, which keeps a log of drone sightings by private and commercial pilots, air traffic controllers and the public, reported more than 2,000 encounters last year. Some came uncomfortably close. Listen to how vague some of these are. Pilot of an Airbus A319 sighted a drone passing directly underneath their Airbus as it was on the final approach in New Orleans. So only the pilots saw it. Okay. Oh, pilots. Okay. So they saw it. Their word stands. That was definitely a drone because they both saw it.
Dash cams.
Now remember the simulation video I did. Bearing in mind, if you sat in the cockpit, you can't really see below like the horizon. So if they can see it passing directly underneath, if they've got a glass floor, okay. A drone passed 200 feet below a Boeing 737 while flying at 6,700 feet near Minneapolis.
Yes.
Who saw this? Who knows? And then this one here is even worse. A single-engine Piper found damage to the left wing that its pilot believes could have come from a drone impact.
Could have.
Could have come from a bird. Could have come from a bullet. Oh my goodness.
Well, can I just comment on something before you go on and on with these idiotic stories? This unless I'm that naive, this article contradicts itself just in the first statement that it said that drones are difficult to see.
Yes.
Yet they're seen all the time. Which is it? Do they see them and they're plentiful and everybody knows that the drones, or are they difficult to see and you can't identify them when they're in the way? That's what kills me. They say they're hard to see, but then everybody sees them.
Yeah, well, here we go. Look, here's some stats for you. Look, drones are hard to detect. Pilots could only spot hovering drones 13.6% of the time on airport approaches in tests conducted by Oklahoma State University and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical Institute. So when the drone was moving, the detection rate improved to only 50%. These things are very hard to see, even when you know where to look, said Assistant Professor Matt Vance, one of the Oklahoma State researchers. This article is very much contradictory to itself, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's going, oh, pilot saw a drone here under these circumstances, here under these circumstances, and then some guy claims a drone in his plane, and then underneath, spotting them is very difficult. You know, like, so
they must be superhuman. That's what it is.
Them guys have had like transplants to get like hawk eyes, right? With like heat vision eyes, right? Yeah. So it's believed that some hawks have like almost heat vision on their eyes, like thermal vision.
And to your credit, Steve, and to your credit, dash cams, 4K dash cams.
Dash cams. Why is no one listening to me? Jeanette Pickering, hello there.
And you get decent ones for only $100 a piece.
Yes. Yeah, just think, a multi-million pound aeroplane, right? Hundreds of, maybe hundreds of thousands, if not tens of thousands of these things in the air at the same time, right? And these companies earning so much money, and I know because I look up the thing is. And, they're making a whole lot of money. They claim poverty, but no, they're earning a lot of money. And to pay £100 per plane between all the big companies is not a lot. And then they could put the issue to bed, couldn't they? They could go, look, we have the footage of it missing the plane by...
And I'd put my money where my mouth is in the sense that, like you said, if they have like documentation of it and they're like, look drone, right there, I'd be like, you know what? We are a bunch of jerks. I get it now, and I won't argue as much. But nothing's concrete yet.
Yeah. This thing here, look. Though collision with planes are rare, they have the potential to cause serious damage, perhaps even a crash. Jeanette Pickering asks, probing. Yes, we was on the topic of being probed, being reprobed, and being pre-probed, all of which are allowed in Scrabble. Right? Okay.
And apparently Gary has a lot of experience with that.
Yes, on a weekly basis, apparently. So this one here gets me as well. An aeroplane wing tore open in a test that simulated a small drone crashing into it at 238 miles per hour, the University of Dayton Research Institute found, right? But that one video itself, all of that research has been completely busted, undermined, everything by professionals, drone companies, who say, look, you're smashing the drone into this plane that can't even go that speed. So
right.
It's not a correct test, is it?
No, it's
I think the max speed of it is something like 140 or 150, right?
yeah.
So
And they're using that story to support their argument, just like everybody else is trying to continue to use the G story, if you know what I mean.
they're about to. They're about to.
Uh-huh.
Jeanette Pickering says, I've had enough probing to last me a lifetime.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing.
Yes. Moving swiftly on.
Moving on.
There's nothing to see here.
Thus the disclaimer at the beginning of the video. This is not for children, everybody.
Yeah. So obviously it contradicts again, look. So a single engine Piper found damage to the left wing that its pilot believes could have come from a drone impact. And then here, look, an aeroplane wing tore open in a test. So their own official thing that they're going with basically doesn't match up, does it? Soulless Trenchcoat, hello there. I believe PMDB might be raiding us, Mark.
Yes, it is a PMDB raid. Awesome.
Oh, nice. Yes, hello, Soulless Trenchcoat. Thank you for joining us. And that's an instant blue for you, my friend. Yes, indeed.
And I
was over in Paul's stream earlier. Twice, actually. I left it open, but I had my tea and I was really tired and I went for a nap. Yes.
And Solus, I already have you supported, man. I just checked your channel. Yes. Hope you're doing well.
Yes. So,
there he is.
Oh, here he is. The man in question is here. And he's been on the vodka and iron brew tonight, so watch out. He's going to have a sharp tongue tonight.
So is he going to be spicy too?
He probably could be, yes.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. So, thank you for the raid, PMDB. That is awesome, mate. Thank you very much. And we were just talking, actually, about a potential future show where we do want you on the panel, mate. So, if you want to break your panel virginity, as you call it, you are welcome to join us on a future panel, and I'll be in touch with you about that if you're all right with it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, yes. We both agreed you'd be more than welcome to be our very first guest on the live stream. And that would be an offshoot of this. So if we do that, it'll be an every other week kind of thing too. So we'll be doing 2 or 3 shows a week, and they'll flip flop from channel to channel, but it will be the Transatlantic Drone Alliance. Even though he doesn't do much drone stuff, does he?
Who?
PMDB, does he?
He don't do any drone stuff.
That's what I figured, but doesn't matter.
Yes.
What I like about him is you can bring a fresh perspective to what we do as a non-drone.
Yes, and Paul, you've made it just in time for me to mention the G word. So you made it just in time. I know you like it when I go on a rant about that. Ron Weasley has come over with a PMDB raid. Welcome to the show. Lit Hot People, Tamira, also welcome to the show and enjoy your time here. Thank you for coming. Eli Family, 1983. Now, a lot of these people coming over, I was over in Paul's live stream, giving him a bit of stick, as I do. And Mark, since setting up that program to play any game online with friends, it's more than possible that me and PMDB will be on a showdown on SmackDown.
Dude, that's going to be a live stream, right?
The thing is, I've already thrown the gauntlet down on Facebook yesterday. I threw the gauntlet down, and so far it's just merely shuffled out of it. So,
but that's got to be a live stream, right? And I'll be the moderator.
Yeah, we have the technology, PMDB. So, yeah, we have the technology. So, whenever you want that to go down, mate, I'll give you that swift release, mate. Honestly, you'll be out that ring, honestly, mate, quicker than you can count to 3, right? B-Max Aerial Visuals, hello there. I'm sorry, I'm just trash talking one of my guests in the chat there. So I'll get back to the article because there is a bit more to get through here. So, authorities haven't hesitated to shut down airports or other airspace if a drone is detected. And then here we go. Gatwick, the London area international airport, was closed for more than a day in 2018 when drones were detected in the vicinity. No, there wasn't. Last year, a drone sighting interrupted operations at Newark Liberty International Airport in New Jersey. Never heard of that one, Mark, did you?
Nope.
No, interrupted operations. I mean, just literally getting a radio call saying, just watch out for drones, carry on as normal, could technically be classed as an interruption, right? So such incidents have spawned the advent of systems that can detect drones like the one used at Dallas Fort Worth International. It allowed for the discovery of drones on 2 occasions, deemed too close to runways over 18 months, says Paul Sitchko, Vice President of Operations. When it comes to errant drones, their operators fall into one of 3 categories. The careless, the clueless, and the criminal.
I knew it.
Said Chad Makovsky, Executive Vice President of Operations at Dallas Fort Worth Airport. Now, he's not the first one to say that. The head of NATS, the UK's governing body of unmanned aerial vehicles, was the first to say that in a parliamentary hearing where he was meant to be standing up for drones. And he said, well, there's 3 classes of drone flyers, the careless, clueless and criminal. And since then it's become a bit of like a rolling gag, actually, more than a serious statement. I think they carry it on. It has a good sort of like, it rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? But
in fact, Steve, in my first draft of the response to the FAA regulations, I threw that in there saying, please don't classify us as either careless, clueless, or criminal. And I was going to cite that chucklehead that said it in the UK, but I kept it out. I tried to stay positive.
Thank you very much, PMDB, for the raid, mate. Yes, that's much appreciated. He says take care, so I think he might be getting off. He's had a little bit too much vodka and iron brew, and now he's going to go. Now he's going to go to bed and think about what's going to happen in that wrestling match when it happens. Right.
Nice.
Yeah. So in the last category, criminal, that causes some of the biggest worries nationally. Even if some small recreational drones sold online can be rigged to carry crude bombs. Okay. 2 drones carrying plastic explosives were launched in what was believed to have been an unsuccessful assassination attempt against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and other officials 2 years ago. I heard about that, but what is believed to have been, still no proof. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, strapping bombs to drones is not good.
Let's be honest, as easy as these drones are to fly, they still take a reasonable amount of intelligence and talent. And you even reported on that ISIS fighter that tried it and unsuccessfully blew himself up, or successfully blew himself up in the process, apparently. So it's been tried, not successfully, to our knowledge.
In Allentown, Pennsylvania, a man was indicted on September for allegedly having an unregistered drone and 7 homemade bombs, and in a case relating to the stalking of his former domestic partner, the US Attorney's Office said. The defendant, Jason Muzzicato, 43, also had 10 guns in his possession. Right? So now it seems like there's no link there that he was going to use the drone with guns or bombs. It doesn't seem like to me, just reading that. But it's almost like they're putting an unregistered drone into the same category as homemade bombs and guns. Do you feel like that's the sort of way they're trying to spin that, Mark?
I think so. Unfounded, but yeah, they're trying to.
Because it's just listing as illegal items, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
He had an unregistered... You know what I mean? He had 7 homemade bombs and 10 guns. And the worst of all, an unregistered drone. You know what I mean? It's like... It's complete fear-mongering. BMAX Aerial Visual says... Does anyone, or did anyone, at the Gatwick incident ever find the drones or the persons operating the drones? I never did hear an outcome to that. Here we go.
Did you see my response to him?
You're going to set me off. At Gatwick, over the course of like nearly 3 days, on and off, there was over 36 individual sightings of drones, like separate from each other, at all different points all over the airport, right? Apparently, right? Shutting the airport down, affecting over 100,000 people, some trapped at the airport, and planes on the runway. They brought in 20 extra police squadrons, right? On perimeter duty, just literal police stood a set distance apart at the airport, right? They brought in the British Army Sniper Unit, right, who said they weren't going to fire on them because they didn't want a stray bullet hit a plane. right? They brought in 2 police helicopters on rotation, so 24 hours a day, with thermal cameras, right? The world's media descended on there with all their expensive camera gear, with obvious capabilities to zoom in on anything like that. Airport security cameras, right? Nobody got any credible footage. Since then, it was released that the police were flying their own drones, looking for drones. So anybody who was seeing drones was seeing police drones, but that wasn't made public until after the incident. So people seeing drones would have seen police drones. They arrested one guy who was literally like registered as a PFCO flyer, right? And hunted him down straight away. He was like, "No, I've got an alibi. I was at work," right? His boss, they rang his boss. Yeah, he was at work, but that didn't stop him naming him as the suspect for what was still going on at Gatwick. Front page news, his picture in all the newspapers, British news. Since then, I believe he has successfully sued. I can't remember what the number was, but I will research that some more. But he has successfully sued the newspapers for publishing his picture and claiming it was him. And he was released without charge, within like 12 hours or something like that. Complete non-story. He was nowhere near it. Since then, the police have said there was most likely not a drone at Gatwick, right? So I'm just going over it for you, B-Mac, because there's definitely not been a drone there.
But you got to round it up with the whole computer system too. If you hadn't talked about doing
I'm getting into that.
I bet.
Into that. Yeah. Oh, and also in the final sort of half a day of the Gatwick drone incident, they actually brought in the anti-drone technology that takes down drones in Syria, right? In a war zone successfully. Couldn't take one down at Gatwick though, unfortunately, because for reasons unknown, it must have just not been working, or there was no drones.
There was no drone.
There was no drones, right?
See, it's a little secret, no drones.
Yeah. Over 100 eyewitness statements, eyewitnesses, none have released a public statement, right? But since then, it turned out that Gatwick had a new computer system installed, and it turns out that Heathrow had that computer system installed, and at the same time Gatwick was going on, Heathrow was also having sporadic point in time where they couldn't take off all land planes. And the thing is, at Heathrow, they admitted it was the computer system and had to pay everybody a refund. Whereas at Gatwick, no one got a refund because of extraordinary circumstances. So, would that make you believe that that's why there was claiming there was drones at the airport when there was no evidence of anything of drones? Also, within 7 days of the end of the Gatwick drone incident, Gatwick was bought by a French company for 50.1% controlling share for an undisclosed amount, which would have been in the probably tens of billions.
Mm-hmm.
Did that bring down the price? Most probably. Right?
Yeah.
Probably by several billion. So for the price of just spreading a bit of misinformation, a company potentially, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is what happened, but potentially could have saved the company billions by just having some jackal, some little paid, lackey to start spreading information saying, "I've seen drones," start fever pitch, then everyone's seeing drones, the police come in with their own drones, people start seeing them drones and reporting them, no one's caught. The police said, "We're closing the case, there's no further lines of inquiry," and that's it. There was probably never a drone at Gatwick. That's the police. That's the UK police's official line on the Gatwick incident, but it still keeps getting referred to as probably the most devastating, disruptive drone attack in the world. But the official line from the police is there was probably never a drone.
And in today's day of everybody seeking that viral video, if any of those 100 so-called eyewitnesses were there and they saw a drone, they would have taken video of it. That stuff would have been online in a heartbeat. Drone at Gatwick, I got it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and BMAC says kind of like one person sees a UFO, 2 weeks later 100 more people, like it have seen it too. And that's the thing, you start off like a kind of hysteria, you know what I mean? And next thing you know, sometimes, don't get me wrong, I don't like hallucinate or anything, but you'll see something out the corner of your eye and you look round and it's gone. Sometimes you sort of look and you know, if you're a bit tired or, you know what I mean, you're sort of like dazzled by bright light. So you look out the window and sometimes you get that sort of like fizzy sensation in front of your eyes. You could mistake that for something flying in the sky, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
For a split second, it might look like something just flew past or something like that. And as soon as you're told there's drones at the airport, that's why no planes are moving, all of a sudden all of them things are going to be getting reported as drones out there. I think I just saw it out the window. You know what I mean? There's like 100,000 people trapped there. Of course they're going to be seeing things that they think are drones because they just want to get out of there. You know, I wouldn't want to be trapped in an airport for 36 hours, you know what I mean?
And at those distances, whatever they might have seen, which it could have been some sort of object, it could be anything.
Could have been anything.
So.
Most probably a police drone. Now bear in mind, Gatwick has CCTV all over the airport. Bear in mind, in the UK, airport security is insane, just like it is in the US. Everywhere is cameraed up, right? So if there's a drone flying around the airport, it'd be on CCTV.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is there no CCTV footage of not even one passing close or even passing far away from a camera? Crazy. World media with them cameras that can zoom in for ages. You had the BBC there. You had news agencies from around the world. And the Sun actually released an article in the Sun with like a satellite view of the airport, and each of the 36 dots dotted out and timed on the bloody map. On the map. How do they know that? If they knew that, then how come, you know, and many of them were in the same spot, like very close to each other. Like an hour later, another hour later, the police would be swarming all over it. And they never caught anyone. No suspects, no drones, nothing. Yes, that is my Gatwick rant over. Yes, my apologies. That took up another 10 minutes of the show, Mike. I might have to do a separate video, and then anybody else who asks, I can just go, please refer to that video. BMAC aerial visuals. You've come in, you've been very nice. A blue wrench has just come your way. Thank you very much, and congratulations, I guess. It's only a button click for me, but when you go into people's live streams and that, and there's people in there with blue wrenches, you're being nice, and sometimes you go in for like, you're in there like regularly for like months, and you're like, I ain't even got a blue wrench yet, you know what I mean? I like to give them out early and instill the trust, you know what I mean?
Give you the benefit of the doubt. And there's only one troll in here you have to watch out for, and that's Gary. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, watch out for that Brant Aerials. He will shout at you. He'll shout your name from time to time, and you do have to respond by shouting back. Unfortunately, you have to go.
Otherwise he gets a bit salty.
Yeah. So, in quotes, then, look, it does not take much imagination to conjure up the enormous harm that can result from the combination of illegal firearms, explosives, and drone aircraft," said U.S. Attorney William McSwain in a statement.
Wow, they're putting bombs, guns, and now drones in the same freaking category.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah. That is something.
Now I need a carrier's permit for my Mavic Mini.
I know. Excuse me, sir. Do you have a permit for that drone?
Have it on your.
You already do by law in the UK. Have to show documentation and proof that you are registered in the UK. Even if you're not a PFCO thingy, even just as a hobbyist, you need to do that now.
I can see it now. Spoof is in the works. You got somebody who's got a dual holster on their side. They got a Mavic Mini in one, and they got a Mavic Air in the other, and they're ready to draw because they have to have permits for these weapons on there that they got holstered on their side.
Yeah. So I'm going to literally skim through some of this. Look, so a lot of people are not licensed and don't understand the responsibility of drone pilots, said retired US Airways pilot John Cox, who himself saw a drone once while flying. When? You know, yeah, please don't just throw comments like that and not...
Dash cam.
Oh, yeah. Get dash cams in your aeroplanes. £100 an aeroplane is nothing. On some planes, that's like one seat, one journey in it. That'll cover it, right? One person on that plane's fee will cover your dash cam, and you can fit 200 people on the plane.
Yeah.
Just for that one-off fee, just, you know, and it rigs right into the black box. So if the plane is taken down by a drone, and that's what's always referenced, what if it gets sucked into the engine and there's a catastrophic failure and the aircraft goes down and all that lot? Well, at least you'd have the footage in the black box. It'd give you somewhere to start looking for a drone pilot, because all these drone sightings, they never seem to catch anybody, do they?
Hugh, Asgard Studios in the house. Thank you very much, brother.
Studios. Hello, buddy. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining
You
us.
just missed the Gatwick discussion.
Yep, yes. The G word has passed.
Please don't make him repeat it.
Seeing as you just come in, Asgard, I will just paraphrase what I was saying about Gatwick there. There's no paraphrasing. Okay. You have to say it the way it is.
I think he already knows. We talked about it before, I think, on Roundup stream, but well, I'm sure we'll have it.
Yeah. So, in quotes then, remote ID technologies will enhance safety and security by allowing the FAA, law enforcement and federal security agencies to identify drones flying in their jurisdiction, said Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao in a statement. Mark, your thoughts on this, please, because I know you feel very strongly about this.
Remote ID, yes, they'll be able to track if it's a legal drone, but if it's an illegal drone without the technology, they're not going to be able to see who's flying it, where it's coming from, where it's going to. Again, it's only punishing the law-abiding citizens who are flying drones, not the chuckleheads who would potentially do things that are the wrong. I mean, let's face it, if you're going to make a bomb out of a drone, you're going to make sure it doesn't have GPS on it. You're going to make sure it doesn't have remote ID. You're going to make sure it cannot be identified, and you're not going to register to the damn thing. So what is all of this about anyway? It's not going to stop terrorism. Sorry.
As far as I know, so far there's not been any domestic case in, you know, the UK, Europe, America, nothing where people have tried to strap a bomb to a drone and fly it into a building, vehicle or person or anything.
To be fair,
we've
had
even suspected, I don't believe. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I mean, to be fair, we've had issues apparently that are on the rise here in the States with prisons and having illegal contraband, if you will, being dropped by drone or whatever the case is. But those, you know, geofencing, nets above open airspaces in prisons, things like that can stop that. You know, we've already had the discussion. We talked about it on Roger's Canadian Drone Hub channel this morning. So,
yes. So measures are already in place to stop that. You know what I mean? The measures that are in place right now are good, right?
Yep.
All that needs to get added is the anti-drone technology at airports, which in terms of how much airports are worth and how much they make, right? They claim poverty. They're not broke. Trust me, they're far from broke. Just all get one of them Syrian thingies that can detect GPS jam a drone and just force it to land, right? Whatever, right? Police go in, they find it. Most probably, it's been recording footage, right? There we go. You've got it, haven't you? You've got it, because when you fly a DJI drone, you actually have to register it on their thing anyway.
Yeah,
so you could get in touch with DJI and go, look, we've got this serial number of this drone. Who's it registered to? With you? You know, we are the law. You know, hopefully you'll give us the information. I'm sure they would for the authorities if it was going to stop criminal activity. So, what's the big deal? I don't get it. And also dash cams for aeroplanes. Yes.
Dash cams. Simple solution.
The ideal one, you know, just like a nice wide angle one, nice aspect ratio. You know what I mean? Just like so you can see everything out the window that pilots, you know, are seeing these drones all the time, daily it seems like, according to the news. And then just mount it just above where all your, you know, just below where your instrument panel is. Completely non-intrusive, automatically starts as soon as the engines start on an aeroplane or something like that. Not difficult to implement and cheap, right?
Yeah, BMAC is absolutely correct. I mean, this hobby saved the FPV drones, which are probably in the last 5-10 years, and of course quadcopters and such, and DJI drones and such. But this remote piloted UAVs, whether they're fixed wing or helicopters or whatever the case is, has been around for 40 years or something ridiculous like that. Why now? And VMAC hit the nail on the head. It only has started since companies wanted to do delivery by drone.
Yeah.
And, if it means hoping that these companies fail with regards to that, then I'm good with that.
Yeah. Now the thing is, obviously it's going into model planes under these proposals will be
Right.
classed as drones.
Yes, they
Now,
already are as
a
far as
lot
the
of
US.
these model planes are so lightweight. They're only just a bit lighter than like a paper aeroplane. They've got the tiniest little motor on them. They're about
And they're
this
foam.
big.
And they're
foam.
foam.
Foam, like with this little motor on it like that, and a little transmitter where you can just control the little things on the wings like that. They weigh literally like the same as a bag of crisps, right? Like 30, 40 grams, some of these things. Like, so you're talking almost like paper aeroplane territory, like a big paper aeroplane, not a little one. And, like, what damage is that going to do? You could fly it full speed into somebody's face and it's not going to do anything. Right?
And Louis P. Floyd has he published a video on solutions and situations. This can be done where everybody gets their airspace. We already fly less than 400 feet as recreational drone pilots. Give Amazon and them from 400 to 800, let's say. So all they have to worry about doing is descending over their target, and they're not going to be flying. Everybody gets their level, and everybody's happy as long as we stay to it. Now, does that mean people are going to stay in their range and stay in their place? No, not necessarily. But to completely obliterate a hobby just so companies can make their money is, as far as the person who owns, I don't know if you heard this, Steve, person who owns Race Day Quads, a very big supplier of FPV equipment, is taking the FAA to court and claiming their proposals are unconstitutional. And they're willing to spend $1 million to do it and then some, and they've opened up a GoFundMe page. We need more companies like that to do it. So thank God there are some people willing to put their money where their mouth is.
Yes. Okie dokie. So, Mark, to round off, this article is the biggest pile of BS I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from the Gatwick incident itself.
It contradicts itself over and over again.
Yeah.
And they don't even catch on to it.
There's many contradictions. I mean, I went to college, right, and I studied critical thinking, right? That is how to pick apart people's arguments, pick contradictions, points they're trying to make, all that lot. And this article is full of discrepancies, and it just wanders aimlessly through supposed what ifs, and like this guy, look, incidents reported over a single 5-day period last June. One of them was a single engine Piper. He found damage to his left wing, and he believed it could have come from a drone impact.
Could have. Why even say it if you didn't see it? Because you're an idiot.
Most likely was a bird or some debris in the air. Because with these pilots, they can see drones, can't they? They can see them very well, from what I can tell. So why did he not see it hit his wing?
Yeah. You're familiar with blue ice falling from the sky, right, Steve? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Anyway, that.
No, I had some on the side of my house. So sometimes the refuse does get out of the plane. I had that blue crap all over the side of my house one time. Had to have the local airport come and confirm it. It fell from a plane and smacked into the side of my house, cracked some of my siding, and it melted. So it had that basically what looked to be like the blue stuff that comes out of the porta-johns, but it was in chunks and it came from a downward angle. Unless somebody was flying overhead with a porta potty and just dumping it all over our neighborhood, maybe that's the case. But it can happen. It can happen.
I thought that was a complete myth.
I don't think that they intentionally do that, but I think from time to time some of it gets loose.
Oh, and you get nasty blue ice, which is for like raw sewage in it.
Yeah, well, yeah. If anybody's gone into a porta potty and used it, it's got blue liquid in there as a disinfectant and a deodorizer and stuff, and that stuff gets ejected from a plane at that altitude, it freezes. So, and I'm not saying big chunks. I'm I'm talking about just small, small blobs of it might get out. So we're talking about the size of an ice cube, okay? Not like big freaking asteroids crashing down on you.
Blue ice from orbit, critical hit on your house,
Well, if you've ever seen, what was it? There's a stupid movie with David Spade. It's called I don't know, Joe Dirt or whatever. He claims to have found an asteroid, and it turns out it was frozen ice from a plane's refuse. And he's been carting around this crap throughout the movie, saying he's got an asteroid or whatever, so meteorite, whatever. I don't know. Enough of that crap, literally. So.
Okay. So
we good to move on?
Yes, indeed. We've gone 50 minutes into the show and we've covered this article. But when I first read this article, I was like, "This ain't gonna do. I need to pick this apart live, right?
Well,
because I've got plenty to say." Yeah,
it's worthy of it, just in its inconsistencies and hypocrisy. So I'm glad you did it.
Yeah.
No words there.
At the end here, it does go into the 53,000 comments that the FAA received against these proposals for remote ID and all that lot, including a load of comments like, "Here's Big Brother stepping in and taking over the skies, commercial drone pilot, blah, blah, blah." You know what I mean? So opponents say the rules at worst could ground many of today's drones. So essentially, this article is very much in favour of the remote ID because they spend literally all that time justifying it, and then right at the end you've just got a couple of sentences from the opponents, you know what I mean? Like, people will go, with all them risks, you're really just going to listen to this little handful of people?
Well,
really?
that must classify them as a responsible journalist by representing both sides of the argument, I guess, huh?
Even drone journalists are against drones. Even the head of NATS in the UK is against
What's
drones.
Up with that?
Even people who claim to be, on the side of drones, secretly they don't like drones, let's be honest.
No.
That's my own speculation, and it doesn't apply to everybody.
Please
don't take me seriously on that one. Okay. Right, Mark, I'm switching over to you, mate. Let's try and squeeze your story in.
And my story is a pretty interesting story, and it's not so much on aerial drones, but this one I found interesting. It's from Forbes, so I put the link in the chat. Mars-inspired GuardBot is part of a partnership that connects airborne and amphibious drones. And that was a picture of the drone right there, and it's land-based and sea-based. And if you go down, which I will not play, I recommend, there is a video right there, GuardBot Robot Surveillance Ball. I recommend you take a look at that and see what the video holds. I've already watched it a few times. Very interesting robot, if you will, drone. I guess it would be considered. It is an unmanned vehicle, not necessarily aerial. It says 2 Connecticut-based drone companies are joining forces in an alliance they say is straight out of science fiction. Aquiline Drones, a cloud and drone solutions company, will be powering spherical and amphibious robotic vehicles from GuardBot to take on a variety of environmental and other projects in the air, on land, and in the water. The Aquiline Drone and GuardBot partnership is a first and significant step, the company says, with the goal of pairing unmanned aerial vehicles to unmanned ground vehicles and combining their capabilities to solve complex problems. This futuristic solution with unique edge characteristics will enable new business models based on cooperation between different classes of autonomous machines. Now, if you watch the way this thing rolls, it kind of reminds me of BB-8 from Star Wars in a way. All the mechanisms are internalized, and this thing rolls on one particular axis, leaving the two domed areas here to be available for cameras and such. So it kind of behaves, and the way it leans and steers is very much like that. So it's all watertight and airtight from what I can gather. GuardBot was initially conceived for a planetary mission to Mars, says Peter Mulrad, company president. That was around 2009 and related to a project with the Swedish National Space Agency and Uppsala University. Through the partnership, Aquiline's aerial hardware will use cloud-based transmitters to communicate with GuardBot's ground-based vehicles for a seamless unmanned system that works together in solving potential life-threatening issues like fires, theft, vandalism, and violent attacks, the company says. In security applications, GuardBot can be remotely operated and controlled or programmed to patrol a set route along perimeters, buildings, and fields. And again, have a look at that video. It's kind of interesting. Hey, Paul Murray, what's up? How's it going, man?
Paul Barry. It's our friend Choo Choo.
Oh, that's Paul Barry. It's funny because that's Paul Murray's icon too. it just my mind just kind of just set me to thinking it was Paul Murray. That's why he doesn't have a blue wrench. Paul Berry, that's Choo Choo, huh?
Yeah.
Kukalan, nice to
Yes.
see you, man. Thanks for popping in.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Paul Murray has the same exact icon, and I just didn't even read the last name. So my sincerest apologies. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, so there's an interesting use of unmanned vehicles. Very unique, mobility as far as I'm concerned. I haven't seen anything like that recently, but I figured that'd be a nice little story there. Hell, I'd like to have one of those. They look like fun, especially since it go on the water, and it does a fairly decent job of that. So
that does actually look really cool.
Yeah,
Yes,
and again, watch the video, folks. It's even cooler in motion. So that's it on that one. Nothing more to say, but unique. That was my unique find for the week. Let's put it that way.
Okay. And after all of that negative stuff that was in Article 1 that I brought up there, I want to switch to something a little bit more positive. Obviously, we are reaching the 1 hour point. And I wanted to just cover this, Matt, because as soon as I came across this, I was like, wow. And I'm going to share the article with you now. This is from theguardian.com. I believe, this is actually a UK website, I believe, The Guardian. Okay, so I'll paste this in the chat for you to check out. And that is, in a different light, sports portraits lit by drone. I mean, look how cool that looks. Now, for a lot of drones and that, you can get I think some of them are called loom cubes and things like that. You can put them on your drone and it's like a beam of light. And so Czech photographer Jiri Krilovec, I hope I've pronounced that right, has produced a series of unique portraits of athletes lit by remote controlled drone. The photographs required many hours of testing, a specially trained crew and custom made equipment. The series captures each athlete performing their favourite sport other than the one in which they compete professionally. Nice. Drone UK, hello there. Welcome to the fray.
Drone UK.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yes. And some of these pictures are really, really good. That one there of the horse rider there.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
That is art,
they're all
right there. Yeah.
They're all spectacular. The ping pong ball player, the table tennis, and then just the regular tennis is really cool.
Nice.
The trace
Drone
and
UK
stuff.
says, filmed my first steam train today. Please tell me which one it was, because I have a slight interest in steam trains. I'm not a train nerd, but I am into steam trains as a whole.
Oh, they're beautiful.
They are.
I'm gonna go and make sure
British ones.
I'm going to go and make sure my notifications are on for him. They are, because I want to see that when you get it posted.
Yeah,
hopefully you will post that soon.
Looking forward to the video, mate.
Yeah, I know you're going to be taking some time to edit that, because you do nice work. So please, let's 70,000 Britannia.
Nice.
And Mad Kiwi is in the house now too.
Mad
nice
Kiwi,
to see you.
hello there, hello. We're just covering an article, Mad Kiwi, where we talk about this guy is doing really cool illumination of athletes and stuff. Very interesting. And this is to round the show off on a positive drone news story. Thank goodness.
Drone UK already has the video up, and it is amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Drone UK. Straight after this stream, I'm gonna go check it out. Right. I will be there. Right. And feel free to put the link in, Drone UK.
I'm putting it in for him, so I hope he doesn't mind.
Yeah, Mad Kiwi says, hope you have a good supply of bog roll, Steve. Yeah, at the minute, I don't want to go into it too much because we seem to cover coronavirus every week now. But in the UK, there's been a whole shortage of toilet roll where people are panic buying all sorts of items. I don't know, but I've seen a video on Facebook earlier of people filling the trolleys with toilet roll and literally getting into fist fights in the aisles over taking too much toilet roll.
So now it's got to be rationed, huh? So.
Well, okay. Right, Mark's put the link in for Drone UK's video.
Yeah, I hope you don't mind. It's brilliant. It's so well done.
Yeah, and I'm going to check that out straight after the stream. I highly recommend just stick with us for the stream, but just tab open that video for after. Please don't leave us. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Because the scene was lit by drone, I could place the light source virtually anywhere, which gave me great freedom and possibility of thinking about photography in a completely new way. Now that one there on the ice is particularly good because you've got the snowflakes, all the droplets of that, and the guy on the ice there. Now this here kind of reminds me of how I've always imagined like a UFO abduction would take place.
Yeah, definitely.
Just in the middle of nowhere, and then just like a beam of light, and then
Now,
sort of like look up into it, and you sort of like become paralyzed, and then sucked up into the beam of light.
Now, Steve, I don't know if your Mavic Air, does it have lights on the bottom? Because like I know
no.
mine, I know mine, the Mavic 2 Zoom, as it lands, if it's dark out, it actually turns on its landing lights, and you get that effect. But I'm sure he's using Luma Cubes or something a bit more dynamic there to get more of a broadcast. But it is cool to see those things coming down automatically turn on their landing lights. It's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah. Darwin Digital, hello there. Thank you for joining us, buddy. So I'm just, a lot of these are images. Remember to visit the site if you like these images and check them out for yourself, because obviously the screen share that I'm doing is, it doesn't really do them justice. You want to look at them like in the full thingy, like, that one's all right. It's not my favourite. You could do that with any old light source, in my opinion. Yeah. But that one there from above, when you've actually got the light source in the frame, it's not very often you see that in photography, but it's done to great effect there. And then there's others as well. Look, in quotes, until I pulled the shutter, I couldn't be 100% sure what the final photo would look like. The whole series required a slightly different approach than I was used to, and most of the portraits took hours to produce. Yes, indeed. Drone UK says, sorry for advertising myself. No worries at all, mate. If it's good stuff, I want to see it. So feel free to, tell us about your latest stuff. You know what I mean? That's all good.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. So this dude here, look, Michael Procop, BMX and 4-cross rider, obviously doing a bit of snowboarding there. That one's very good, and the drone in the shot looks very good. How you keep track of a snowboarder like that at speeds. I know they can go some speeds, and then getting the shot just right, the shutter speeds and everything. That's some good stuff, you know what I mean, right there. Yeah. That is the end of the article, but I wanted to finish on a positive one, and that is about as positive as it gets, you know what I mean?
You just reminded me, because I have a fairly positive one, and it's selfish on my behalf as well. Aaron, the FPV flyer pilot that we went to go do that mud bogging event, and we kind of auditioned for that event, and the owners of the magazine and the online site apparently liked us enough, so they've invited us back for a weekend event. That's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing in the spring, and this time it will be paid. And now I am technically the pilot in command because I have my 107. He'll be flying the FPV. I'll be doing the video drone. If I feel comfortable enough, I may actually do some FPV footage myself, which means I might be risking a $300 quad, because when those things go down in the middle of the bog, you ain't getting it back. But this is actually going to be paid. Now we just have to come up with a reasonable fee for them and not scare them away. And that's always the touchy point, you know what I mean? But they like what we did. So hopefully I'll be able to share some professional video and when the spring comes up.
Nice.
So, and they give us full license to use the video any way we want, as long as whatever we give them, they can use it any way they want as well. So that's part of the deal.
Yeah, that is good. Now, as a hobbyist, I was approached by an archery club, and they said, we've got this archery event on the go and all that lot. Would you be happy to come film some of the archers and that and all that lot? And we'll
that's a great video.
We'll pay you, right, for the footage. And I was like, nah, I can't get paid. I'm happy to film it and give you the footage. That's fine, but you can't pay me. I never took payment. And recently I saw a clip of the video that they made with all them dynamic angles. Everybody had to sign a waiver on the way in saying, I understand that a drone will be flying this event. It may come close. It will be flying overhead. The full disclaimer. So anybody at the event, which was like a closed event, there was like a gate to get in where someone was stood. Do you know what I mean? All legit. And there was notified in advance. Everybody who was coming that a drone would be present. And what an awesome day that was, just having complete free license to, say to somebody, before they're about to shoot a bow and arrow, like, are you alright just like standing over here on this far target over here, and I want to get some nice like panoramics as you're lining up your shot and that, and then firing the bow. Like, oh yeah, sure, that would be awesome. And oh man, I'll have to one time link that video of theirs because although
I
it
was
was
going to
like
say,
a local thing, it was out in the middle of this big field. You know, I was
oh, it was
nowhere near
brilliant. I
anything
loved
else,
it.
you
I
know
remember
what I
you
mean?
showed me the footage before you edited it. I don't know if I ever saw the final, like, video itself, if you finished it or not.
Yeah.
So,
It's only
and
like
if
a
you don't,
20-second video, but
yeah,
that's the thing, you know, for promotional purposes, I gave them about 30 minutes worth of footage,
right,
just the complete unedited flights, you know,
right,
with a little notepad with it, just a few time markers of some particularly nice shots that I liked, some
yeah,
nice panoramics and zooms along the range, you know, into the targets, and then sort of like
right,
pull up at the last minute so you can use that almost like as the arrow flies and things like that. Oh, he's done a brilliant job with it. So I'll have to link
right.
that one time to the Facebook page. Yeah, Asgard Studios, he says, sounds like a great experience. Yes, indeed. You know, having actually a group of people, you know, less than 1,000, mind you.
Right.
There was about 50 people there that had all signed the waiver and agreed. You know, and it was said every time they came to the range, you know, a drone is going to be flying overhead.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let it spook you or distract you. It won't fly like so close it's going to be buzzing in your ears. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
right.
then you know, for the people was approaching me saying, if I get on the range, will you like come in close like that as I draw me bow and all that lot? And they was all making jokes like they're going to try and shoot it out of the sky and all that lot. I'm like, please don't. Right?
Yeah.
You know?
And
it's like,
and
that would be the best target practice though. And I'm like, I know.
And Steve, if I hope you didn't mind, I posted that link to the mud bogging footage that I took that one weekend too, so everybody knows what the heck I'm talking about. If you're not from the States, I don't know if anybody knows what you might know is mud bogging, but that'll give you an idea. No FPV footage in this. I wasn't flying it. This is just strictly with my Mavic 2 Air.
Nice. Yes. So, Mark, in the background, have you been looking for a stream to raid?
No, I forgot.
Please
I'm
do.
going
If
now.
you have any good suggestions in the chat, and we'll decide what's good, right?
Yeah.
Please put you know, your suggestions in the chat. That's if Mark can't come up with something sooner. I'm also going to if I switch back to that. Oh, I'm getting the angle live streaming right.
Well, we have. I don't think Jeanette's on anymore. She was on earlier, I think. But we have our Haunted Traveler. If you're into haunted, because you and I like to frequent the paranormal and stuff like that.
I know who we can raid.
Oh,
guess who's still alive?
PMDB? No.
It's still
really
live. Yeah, it's still live.
Oh my God, I want to see how trashed he is.
Yes. Yeah. Please go over there to PMDB Live. He was in the stream earlier. He did actually raid us as well. This dude is awesome. I'm not kidding you. So let's go with Aerial Raid. He'll know who that is. And then just like so, please go over there. We'll catch you over there in a minute because I'm going to go in and slag him off a little bit. You know, he loves it anyway.
Yeah.
Like I say, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. It's been an awesome show
much.
once again. I love doing these shows. It really lets me release my my anger at the sort of like misrepresentation of drones in the news and cover the good drone news stories as well. So it's a good outlet for me because it does annoy me how bad the drone sort of scene is portrayed to be, and I don't like it. So that's my thing. So right, quick plug then before you go. Next show Wednesday night. Mark, is this correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's
5
Wednesday
o'clock.
night. Wednesday night, 5 p.m. Eastern time, 10 p.m. UK time on Mark's channel. So if you haven't subscribed to him, it is linked in the stream description down below. Catch us both Wednesday and maybe Saturday as well. We'll announce that on Wednesday. And then thank you all for joining us. We'll catch you all over in PMDB's live in a minute. EBRFP. Thank you. Been a great stream. I agree. Brant Aerials. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know what I mean? We're honored
and don't forget, we may have a surprise sponsor for Wednesday night's show. So stay tuned.
Yes, indeed. So make sure you don't miss that because I'm sure it's going to be hilarious. Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
on
folks.
Wednesday,
Thank you
I'll
very
see
much.
if I can rig a light bulb up. Yes, Gary. Okay. Right. Catch you all over in PMDB stream.
Take care, guys.
Thank you very much for joining us, guys.
Thanks,
and
everybody.
I'll see you all on Wednesday. Okay. Farewell, everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye.